Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel, Theory of Life. Recently I uploaded a video describing my recent experience with veganism, and I found some ways out, and I was going to make a video about my ways out. I was going to entitle it, Vegans Are Wrong, but You Should Be One Anyway, and I was going to explore some cool philosophy things there. But when I was writing the video, I actually found a defeater for my defeaters for veganism. So, veganism is true, and here's a defense. So, here we go. Anyway, so here's a good question to ask. So, what is the moral status of non-human animals? So, clearly they have some amount of value. You wouldn't stab a crow for fun. You wouldn't torture a cat for convenience. You wouldn't murder your neighbor's dog because you wanted to. These would be really bad. It's important to note that humans and non-human animals they might be different with respect to value, but the difference isn't too drastic here. I think killing a crow is wrong in the same way that killing a human is, even though it may not be as wrong. It's wrong in the same way. It matters in the same way. So when is it okay to kill or torture a non-human animal? So one common response, which I'm kind of sympathetic to, is it's okay to kill or torture a non-human animal because you get to eat the meat afterward, and that meat tastes good. Alex O'Connor at Cosmic Skeptic has a thought experiment right here.
So taste, yeah, we've got like 5 senses, yeah? Taste, as well as like sight, hearing, they're all just senses, yeah? So imagine that instead of talking about taste, I talked about hearing. Imagine if I said, listen, I'm gonna kill this animal, I'm gonna harm this animal, because I like the way it sounds when I stab them and they squeal. I really like the way it sounds when they like scream for their lives, right? What would you think of me if I said that?
So, as you just saw, it's something like, imagine I pay someone money to kill a pig. It's like the way that it sounded when it squealed. Now, there's problems with this thought experiment, but his point is that sensory experience, pleasurable sensory experience, is a bad justification for the killing and suffering of animals. Maybe physical health concerns matter here. Let's say that unless you consumed animal products, your physical health was going to be in jeopardy to some extent. So there was actually kind of disagreement about the vegan diet and how healthy and sustainable it actually is. By my lights, it's not been a big problem for me. It's been like 5 or 6 months or whatever. And there's other people it hasn't been a problem for. And by my research, it seems sustainable. With intentionality and creativity, it seems sustainable. But I could be wrong. I'm not a scientist, whatever. There's some resources in the description. You should know that it's kind of controversial as well. But that aside, even if it hurts your health in some way to not consume animal products, it seems like still immoral to contribute to the suffering and death of these non-human animals. Imagine I was really hungry and I was malnourished, and unless I got my neighbor's baked beans from his pantry, I was just gonna be really hungry and really sick. So I go to my neighbor's house, I break in, I steal his beans or whatever, I come back and I eat them, and I'm good now. I still did something wrong. I still shouldn't have stolen or wronged or harmed my neighbor in that way. So, there also might be some practicability concerns here. Perhaps your life might be in danger, or your health is significantly at risk. I'll address that later on in the video. The point is, most of us, by my lights, we're in a position where adopting a vegan diet isn't that detrimental to our health, probably. And even if it is, there's still an obligation to respect the life and well-being of these animals, even at the cost of some of your physical health. Not many people discuss that aspect of veganism, but I think it's important. I think it's true. So implications for all of this. So what do we do at a grocery store or a restaurant when we can buy animal products? We're contributing to the death and suffering of these animals. We're contributing to the marketability of the death and suffering of these animals. For what? For taste, pleasure, and health that we can probably find elsewhere using a vegan diet. And even if we couldn't, it's still not permissible to consume these animal products because our health might be slightly less. Wait, what if you don't pay for anything? What if someone gives you a steak on a silver platter, and by eating the steak, you wouldn't be paying for any of the, you wouldn't be contributing to the marketability, you wouldn't be paying for a steak, maybe people wouldn't be around you, so you wouldn't be influencing anyone to buy their own steaks, you'd just simply be consuming the steak with no further consequences. What would be wrong with this? So imagine your mother recently had her funeral, and they threw her in a grave, and so I went out to the graveyard, and I was really hungry, so I went out there and dug her up, and I ate her. You know, this is getting, that would just be really morally reprehensible. And this is kind of similar with eating the steak, even though there's no consequences to eating the steak. Eating the body of a thing that seems to have value or have had value seems gross and, you know, reprehensible. So what if it's impossible to exist without contributing to the death and suffering of non-human animals? Perhaps all of our actions contribute to some amount of death and suffering. Unless you just deem it appropriate to simply stop existing, I think a good principle to abide by is contribute to the least amount of suffering possible. Vegan diets do in fact cause tons of suffering. So plant agriculture kills 7.3 billion animals every year, and not to mention 3.5 quadrillion insects, and that's problematic. Animal agriculture is worse because it also contributes to plant agriculture because it has to feed its animals. So all of that death and suffering is present in animal agriculture, on top of the 70 to 150 billion animals killed every year in slaughterhouses and animal agriculture and all that stuff. So for these reasons, it seems like veganism has some moral force, and while it's not perfect, it seems to have, it's the best of all options. So there's some practicability concerns and some questions to address here. So how bad does your physical health have to be before it's permissible to consume animal products? And a crazier question is, if your mere existence causes death and suffering, shouldn't you stop existing? And these are crazy questions. They're not crazy. These questions are deep and important. We need to wrestle with them. But I don't think I need to answer them in this video. I think it'd be a cool video in the future, but I don't need to answer them in this video. I think all I need to say, and all vegans need to say, is that we're making moral progress. The world is a better place after veganism than it was before veganism. So, thank you so much for watching this YouTube video. Smash the like button. Subscribe if you want. That's cool if you don't, or whatever. Substack's in the description. Instagram's in the description. Go check it out. Also, there's resources for the vegan diets and stuff is in the description. Please debunk everything I've said in this video. Please, absolutely destroy me. I want to eat meat so bad. So then I can make my video on vegans are wrong. But you should still be one. But maybe you shouldn't because, you know, eating meat's fine. Anyway, so thank you so much. Have a wonderful day. Bye.